In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to break out of the 0-view jail with long-form faceless YouTube channels. And just so you know that I've done it myself, here you can just see we posted the first video on the 11th of July. Then we posted another one 14th, 15th and 16th. And literally nothing happened. And then we finally started getting some views. Now, there was a problem. We had to identify it. And in this video, I'll show you the most common problems to the 0-view jail. So I would say let's get started. But before we get started, who am I? I'm Steffen. I've made hundreds of thousands of dollars with faceless YouTube channels. And I've helped hundreds of other people do the same thing. As for example, here a student, I've helped him to get to $12,000 a month with his faceless YouTube channel. Or here another one at almost $24,000 and many others. So here, for example, another one, 6,000 subscribers, $8,000 in ad revenue. And here we helped another one to get the silver play button and obviously make thousands of dollars with faceless YouTube channels. Now, if you're interested in getting the exact same results, just check out the first link in the video description, book a call with me, and we will see if it would be a good fit to work together, and then we'll get you these exact same results. But with that being said, like I already said, we first need to identify the problem. Now, there are multiple different problems. So it could be the niche, it could be the channel, could be that you post bad video topics, could be that your packaging is bad. We will go through all of that in this video, and you can literally compare these problems or these things to your own channel. And then you will automatically know like, hey, this is what I'm doing right, or this is what I'm doing wrong. So yeah, make sure to watch the whole video. And like I said, this video is going to be uncut. So if your attention span is this small, just click off this video now already because it's going to be uncut. So first thing we're going to look at is your niche even good? Now, to know if the niche is good, I have specific criteria of a good niche, and you can literally stop this video and compare your niche to this criteria. This is the exact list I always have next to me when I'm doing niche research. I always have this when I look at the niche. If I think maybe it's good or maybe it's bad, I always look at this niche or at this list to really determine like, hey, I'm going for this channel or I'm not going for this niche. All right. So firstly, there are under 5 smaller channels creating content in this niche that are consistently getting more views than they have subscribers. This means there's high demand and low supply. Yes, I do mention this exact thing over and over and over again, just because it is so super important. And I always, because I've gotten comments where people say like, hey, okay, you're mentioning this over and over again. But if you would fully understand this and actually implement this, you wouldn't be struggling with YouTube. And that's why I'm mentioning this over and over again. All right. So let me just explain this whole concept. You have to see YouTube as a market, right? Every market has supply and demand, right? If you, let's say, for example, you want to open a pizza restaurant, right? But there are already five pretty good pizza restaurants in your town, right? So there are 5 good pizza restaurants in your town, all right? Now you want to do another one. What do you think, or why do you think should your pizza restaurant be special, and why should it succeed? Most of the people will still just keep on going to the one they know, right? But let's say, for example, there is only one pizza restaurant in your town, right? And it's bad, all right? Now you can go ahead and you can open another one, but make it good, right? So that's why we always look at supply and demand, right? At firstly, how good are the topics and the videos in that niche already? And secondly, is there even space? Now, if there are 5 pizza restaurants in your town, there's probably not much space, depending on how many people there are actually in your town, right? Now, if there's one and it's actually even bad, then if you go ahead and open a good one, you will be able to obviously make a lot of money. So always think about supply and demand if you go into a niche. This might not be the best example, but this is the easiest how I can explain it to literally everyone, all right? And then there are no channels with over 100,000 subscribers. This would be, there are no good pizza restaurants. All right. Very simple. Then there are no smaller channels failing. There are no pizza restaurants failing. These 2 are super important because if there's, for example, here, like I said, 100,000 subscribers, why should YouTube push out your channel, although it already trusts the bigger channels in that space? It already knows like, hey, this specific channel, the people like it. It is trusted by YouTube. So why push your channel if it already has a channel that delivers, right? Same thing goes for this. There are no smaller channels failing. If there are like 10 pizza restaurants failing already, why would you go ahead and open another one? All right. You always have to think about YouTube like a real business. Then you're going to make money. Then the niche is not older than 6 months. So in most cases, if the niche is older than 6 months, these two are already crossed. So then there will be big channels and channels failing. Then I can create better content than my competitors, which would make your channel special. Now, this doesn't have to specifically be way better content. It can be longer content. It can be more detailed content. It can be better editing. But something I'd highly recommend everyone to do is to do longer content. All right, than your competitors, because you always have to keep in mind who's YouTube, like what is YouTube's main goal? That's also something more people need to think about. YouTube wants to keep people on its platform. Now, which videos is YouTube going to push? Exactly, the videos that keep people on its platform. Now, if you have a longer video, your video can keep someone on the platform for a longer amount of time. Very simple. All right, then am I actually interested in this niche? This is not a must as long as you build a team that has interest in the niche, so your videos are not complete trash. All right, then is the niche monetizable? This is a must. Now it's very simple to check this. You can simply check it with ElevenLabs. I'll just let a link in the video description. Then a huge bonus is if you can post long videos. Now, why long videos? And I mean like super long videos. Like I mean 1 hour to 2 hour long videos. This is so powerful because you can actually add a lot of ad slots throughout your video. And that means that YouTube can show more ads, and that means YouTube makes more money and you make more money, right? So long videos can be super powerful. This is not a must, but it is a bonus. So really have a look at this list and have a look if your niche hits these requirements. Now, it doesn't have to hit these requirements one-on-one, like perfect, because it's going to be very difficult for you to find a niche that has these exact requirements, right? Bonus, very important. Give yourself enough time to do niche research. Do not rush the process, all right? So this is for all of the people who are just starting out. Do not rush the process. Or if you want to start the next channel, the biggest thing I see between the people who fail with YouTube and the people who actually succeed is the people who not rush the process, all right? Especially the niche research. All right, so now we have this with the niche. If your channel hits these criteria, then you are good to go. If not, then you need to pivot into a different kind of niche. Next up, we have video topics are trash, all right? Now, there is not just supply and demand in niches, but also in video topics, which most people skip, all right? So always if you have a competitor, niche or competitor channel, and you want to recreate a video, first take that video title, paste it into the YouTube search, and have a look how many people have actually already recreated that specific topic. What I always like to do is, I always like to pick very recent videos with a very fast team. So let's say, for example, an outlier video from the last 2 days, and I would recreate that, make it better, longer, and more interesting, add more value to that video. And then I would post it as fast as possible while nobody else has posted a video on that topic yet, right? Just one channel. Now you see that over and over again, that people do it, just make a better video, longer, better thumbnail, better title. And very often the second time you do it, the video actually gets more views. So you always need to, be very fast when it comes to video topics, and always keep in mind there is supply and there is demand in topics as well. So always, put in the topic into the search, look at how many people have already created a video about that topic, and then All right, so this is super important when you create videos. Like the problem here would be if you create videos that, for example, 5 people have already covered and your video is the exact same. Like, why should YouTube push it? And the people are already fully satisfied with this topic, all right? So next up, your videos are not long enough. Like I already mentioned, video length is super important. I always see people, and always people ask me like, hey, like if I go into a niche where my competitors create 1 hour videos, is it okay for me to create 2 videos that are both 30 minutes long and I just post them, and then in combination that would be 1 hour, right? That's like, it's a good way of thinking, but it's a problem for YouTube, all right? You can get more views that way, but the thing is, if your competitor video is 1 hour long, right? and your video is only 30 minutes long, 30 minutes long, then this video can be viewed for 1 hour. This video can only be viewed for 30 minutes. All right. So which video do you think is YouTube which video do you think is gonna keep people on YouTube for the longest amount of time? Very easy to answer. This video is gonna keep people on YouTube for the longer time. And that means this video will get pushed instead of this video, right? So it's very, very simple. These two longer videos are super important. No matter what niche you go into, you always want to create 1.5 times longer videos than your competitors, right? If you go into niches where the videos are 10 minutes, 15 minutes long, you can also just do 5-minute longer videos. All right, this is also enough. But if you go into the, highest space where, the videos are 30 minutes, 40 minutes, do this. This is a rough number that we always use when we create videos. This can really help. And yes, so let's keep on moving. So next up, your video packaging sucks. All right. Now, what is a good video packaging? You can go into multiple directions here. So there are people that, for example, say okay, create as similar as possible as your competitors, which is correct. But there are people that steal thumbnails one-on-one, which will never work. All right. You never want to steal your competitor's thumbnail one-on-one. Why? Because it's very simple, actually, because YouTube is going to show your video to the hardcore fans of that niche. And the hardcore fans of that niche will have already seen that specific video, right? That's why I always say you have to change the title up a bit and you have to change the thumbnail up a bit. Now, I don't say develop a whole new concept for the thumbnail. The concept can still be very, very similar, but it should be different to the original. Right? Very similar, but different. The style and the format of the thumbnail should be the exact same, but the thumbnail should be different. All right. So this one is super, super important. Have a look how close you are to your competitor channels. Is your format the same? Do you one-on-one copy these thumbnails? You always want to add a little bit of changes, but not too much, so the thumbnail looks completely different, right? There are also people that say hey, okay, Mr. Beast style thumbnail is super good, and that's what I'm gonna do. The thing is, you always want to replicate what works in your niche, all right? So always do whatever your competitors are doing, but make it new, right? Make it original. Let me know if you guys want a video specifically on this, and I can do that for you guys. Then next up, you have a bad channel. Now, most people don't know, but shadow bans are real, right? They are real. Shadow bans are real. So how can you actually see if your channel is shadow banned or not? Very simple. So you can always look at your impressions. All right. This is something not many people know. Or even look at. Many people don't even know what impressions are, which is really funny, but it's okay. You guys, I learned as well. I started there as well. So it's completely fine. Impressions is basically just how many times YouTube has actually shown your videos to people, right? Now they are browse impressions. They are suggested impressions. Whoops. And they are search impressions, right? Most of the impressions, right, come from these three features, if I can say it like that, or from these three sources. Now, browse is simply on the YouTube homepage, right? Then we have suggested. This is on, when you watch a video, then it's this is the video, and then here on the sidebar there are a bunch of videos here. That's where suggested comes from, and search. Now, something you always have to look at, where exactly do my impressions come from, right? If you only get impressions from search, it could be that your channel might not be the best, right? But it could also be that your niche is maybe fully saturated and YouTube just doesn't know where to place your videos. But it could also be that, as I said, that the channel is bad, right? So you always want to have a look at hey, do I get any impressions from browse and suggested? This is super important. The next thing is you always want to have a look at, if you, for example, only get 100 impressions, less than 100 impressions, then there's something wrong with your channel, especially if it is just from search or other sources and stuff like that. These are the main ones we really want to target, all right? Now, if you only get 100 impressions and you post 15 videos to your channel, right? Then that would mean that there is something wrong with your channel, and you would have to take all of these videos you posted already to that channel, right? You delete all of these videos from that channel and you go ahead, I actually don't know why I switched my pen, and you post the videos to another channel, right? And then you have a look at like, hey, do I get impressions now or not? If not, then it might be that it's one of these problems, right? Now, very often this can also happen if your video packaging or your video is one-on-one the same as your competitor video. YouTube is not stupid, right? So this is super important. And these are like basically the main problems why you're not getting any views on your YouTube channel. Now, keep in mind, if you're interested in working closer with me, just check out the first link in the video description. So here we took another student's channel very quickly. So the channel was literally dead to $171 in 1 month, right? $170 a day, all right? Euros actually. So yes, check out the first link in the video description if you're interested in working closer with me. And there, I would, for example, analyze these things with you and make your life easier because, yeah, I have been doing this for very long, so I have an eye for these things. But yeah, check out the first link in the video description, book a call with us. Let's see if you would be a good fit, and then we'll see each other in the next video.